If you're just starting out, you may not have the best equipment or you may not have a lot of money to spend on equipment, which is totally fine. You can get away with streaming from your PC as long as it can handle running a game on low settings and a webcam. And you don't even have to have a webcam, but it definitely helps. Nowadays, most people expect to kind of see the webcam, but it's not necessary, especially if you're very animated with your voice. One of the things you can do if you want to get a better quality PC that can stream and play the games is that you can build your own. And there's plenty of resources out there, such as PC Part Picker, or I would recommend a website called KBMod. It's keyboard and mouse or die, kbmod.com. On kbmod.com, they have a section where it gives you rig suggestions for this budget price, and it has different tiers, and the lower tiers are like $500. And if that's a little too expensive for you, you can just look at the parts and upgrade one by one. So if you're just starting out streaming, you don't have to necessarily have the best quality. You could just run your game on low settings as long as you're able to stream at the same time and play the game without too many technical issues. And you can use OBS, you can use XSplit, or you could use Lightstream or other resources like that. Lightstream is actually very light on your computer, so if you don't have a great PC, that might be a great way to start. If you're streaming console games, I would suggest getting a cheap capture card and porting it into either OBS, XSplit, or Lightstream, because you're going to be able to have more options, more quality options, more ways to lay out the whole stream. It's going to look better, it's going to be better for your brand and for your personality. So as far as equipment, some of the things you need to focus on are peripherals. If you want to have a webcam, it's not necessary, but you could have one. It definitely helps. You can get a cheap webcam. One of the cheapest ones out there is the Microsoft LifeCam. It's not very great, but it'll work and it's cheap. Otherwise, pretty much the standard webcam that people use is still the Logitech C920. There's the Brio that's more recent, came out more recently. The quality is pretty similar on both of those. Those are a little bit more expensive, or later on, you can look into more expensive cameras. But to start, you can just start with a cheap webcam like that. As far as a microphone. Now, audio is a very serious thing to me. So for me, I would always suggest getting a standalone mic. You can get a USB mic. You could even use a Rock Band USB mic, honestly, and it's gonna sound better than just having a headset mic. However, if you're just starting out, it's a lot easier and a lot cheaper to just get a headset with a decent mic attached to it. It's gonna be okay, but I would suggest after a little while, if you have some money set aside, you can go ahead and get one of those USB mics. I do know that there are some pro streamers, partnered streamers, most of them are pro players, that still to this day stream with a headset mic. And personally, I hate it. It irks me. I don't like it. I'm an audiophile, a voice actress, so I love hearing good audio quality. They get away with it, and that's fine. If you don't care about audio as much, then by all means, go for it. It's going to be cheaper for you. But I would suggest for more personality-based streaming, good audio is going to help you connect with your audience better. It's like playing a game and hearing terrible voice acting or terrible, audio just in general. It's not going to be as easy to connect with the characters in game and the game itself if you can't get into it because of the audio. Same thing goes for streaming. So something very important, especially nowadays for streaming or creating content on YouTube, whatever it may be, you have to have social media. It's super important. I know some people hate it, but it can be very easy to do. You don't have to tweet very often. You don't have to interact super often if that's not your style. However, it's very important. And you need to be able to share your content to a larger audience. So I would suggest using Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you don't have a YouTube and you're a streamer, get a YouTube as well, because you can always export your highlights of the stream or clips out there. Those are super easy way to spread that to another audience. And the way that you can get more traction is by using hashtags, engaging with other people. One of the things that I did starting out was I would follow a bunch of other people in the industry, and if they tweeted something, I would respond to them. And I don't mean a fake response, I mean real engagements. So people would say something like, man, I really like this game, blah, blah, blah. And I would just chime in with my 2 cents, even if it was like a total stranger, just chime in with my 2 cents. That would get engagement from them. Maybe we'd follow each other. Maybe you'd meet somebody else from that. Maybe somebody else would follow you because they followed you. It's kind of this whole way of branching out organically by just having real conversations with people on other social media. So let's say you've put aside a little bit of money and you want to up the quality of your stream or your videos. Well, here's some things you can do to make it better. Make it better by getting new equipment. You can always up the quality of your PC gameplay by getting new parts or getting a new PC. That's always obviously a first option there. Secondly, you can get a better camera. Some people use camcorders and they like that quality. If you want something more cinematic, you can go for a DSLR or a really fancy expensive camcorder, but you're gonna get the same quality as a DSLR for a little bit cheaper on the DSLR. I'm one of the first people on Twitch who's been using a DSLR as a webcam consistently for the past like year and a half now. A lot of people are afraid that it's gonna burn out your mirror, the sensor. It doesn't really work like that. If your sensor is gonna burn out, it's gonna burn out. It's only based on heat. You can get an AC adapter and that'll help instead of having a hot battery in your camera. I've been using it for a year and a half. The same camera works perfectly fine. Some people have had issues and honestly, it's probably because their camera already had an issue. So don't worry about that. There's a guide I wrote online. You can check it out. You can either do it through a program called SparkleCam or you could do it straight through HDMI and a capture card. That's just one option that you can do for webcams. Or you can go and use a GoPro. That's gonna look nicer than your basic webcam. Or you can go camcorder, and that's gonna look a lot nicer as well, and you can use an HDMI output for that as well. So upgrading the quality of your PC, again, you can go back to PC Part Picker, you can go back to KB Mod, you can do some research online and see which parts are gonna help improve the quality of your gameplay. Now, if your computer is just like a toaster, you may wanna consider starting fresh. Just to be honest, I've started fresh over like 3 times now, and my gameplay is just through the roof now. And one of the reasons that mine is through the roof now is because I have a streaming PC and a gaming PC. This gets really complicated and technical. However, if you are a pro player and you do all kinds of pro gaming or you're super serious about quality, it's gonna look way better if you have a 2 PC setup. They are tough, they are confusing, and they take a lot of work and they can be very stressful. But once you have it set, it's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. It also helps if the game that you're playing is a beta game or, it's crashing a lot and it's not the computer's fault, it's the game. That gaming PC can be restarted and you won't end your broadcast. So that's another way that it helps as well. As far as setting your stream's quality standard, you don't necessarily have to have a lot of money to do channel art. You can actually create some yourself, or you can use some basic templates. There's a lot of websites made for Twitch streamers that have free templates for overlays. Simpler is better, so you could really just make your own. You can make a border. You can just put your little Twitter handle or tag down there, or just your name, and go with that. Or if you have a little bit of money, you can always look for an artist and commission them to make you some overlays. There are also plenty of resources for that on the Twitch subreddit. Or if you like someone's overlay on Twitch, you can actually tweet them and ask them, hey, I really like your art. I really like your overlays. Where did you get them done? Who did you have do them? And they might tell you, I did them myself, or I hired this artist right here. I'd highly recommend them. And that's a great way to actually also network and find more people to work with in this community. As far as YouTube videos go, I would highly, highly suggest making some awesome thumbnails. I get lazy sometimes and I do just like screenshots. Usually they're funny screenshots at least, or like intense screenshots. That's usually just because I'm lazy or I'm busy. But if you have the time, it's definitely a huge improvement. People are going to want to click that video if you have a good thumbnail. Now, a lot of people use clickbait. I would suggest not putting stuff on the thumbnail that's not in the video, unless it's like a joke in reference to it or something like that. However, let's not put boobs on the thumbnail. Let's not do that, guys. Let's make a conscious effort not to do that. Titles are also super important on YouTube. You want to have an interesting title, concise, short, sweet, to the point, something eye-catching. So lately I've been playing Outlast 2. I have highlights from my stream on Twitch, or from Twitch. I have highlights from my Outlast 2 streams on Twitch, and I upload them to YouTube. Now, the titles of these videos, they say Outlast 2 at the end. You do kind of want to include the game in there. It's not completely necessary if you have the gameplay on the screen, but it helps. One of the things that I use as my titles are ridiculous lines from the game. So in Outlast 2, there's some pretty vulgar things being said. My channel is more adult-based and, you know, geared towards people 18 and up, so some of these vulgar things make it into the titles. Does it make people want to click them? Yes. But it's also inside the video. It's not something I'm just making up and putting there so people click it. That's very important. People will be very pissed if you have something in the thumbnail or the title that's not in the video at all. So one of the things you can also do to improve the quality, even if you don't change your camera, you can get some nice lighting. Now, there are all kinds of lighting you can do. You can get some umbrella lights. You can get some LED lights. You can just get a lamp, put it in, in front of you on your desk or something. Now, I am kind of on the higher quality end. I have a beauty ring light, but I also do makeup streams and stuff like that. So for me, I really want like a high quality light that's gonna shine and make everything look pretty. But you don't have to get that. The one I have is actually less than $100, so it's pretty on a budget for a good light. Or you can get box lights. Really, Amazon has tons and tons of resources for that. They have lighting kits. You can get a green screen and a lighting kit together. So some people think that you need a green screen to stream. It's not necessary, but if you want to focus more on gameplay, it is good. It cuts out all of your background. It's a little hard to tweak if you've never done it before, but mess with the settings. You should be able to get it. Cut out everything in the background. If you're going to use a green screen, you're going to need good lighting. That's the one trick. If you're going to go with the DSLR webcam route, which I recommend if you have the money, I would suggest not using a green screen because you're going to get a really nice cinematic depth of field and some very nice buttery looking blur effect, and it's going to kind of you're going to kind of waste it if you use a green screen with a DSLR. It's totally your preference though. It's up to you. You can mix and match all these suggestions as you like. So both on Twitch and YouTube, you're going to have sections. One of the first things I tell people on YouTube that are just starting their channel out is make sure you have the page layout set up so that it shows the videos thumbnails instead of a feed of videos and things that you comment on or like, because that's just so hard to navigate. People go to your channel, they don't see your uploads in the way that you want them to. It's so easy to manage and switch each little section. You can have your whole playlist of these videos here. If you want something else to show up, you can make it your new video for returning subscribers or new subscribers. There's different options there. And if somebody's coming to your channel and they don't see that stuff, it's going to be hard for them to find that content you want them to see. So first thing when you set up a YouTube channel, make sure you have that layout set. On Twitch, you also have sections below the video player. So you can have different sections like an FAQ. It can tell a little bit about you. Some people don't have one and they get questions all the time. If you don't like answering those questions, I suggest adding an FAQ. You can have other sections like where to follow me on these other social media. You can have sections that have your latest video on it on YouTube. You can take advantage of these sections and organize it any way that you want. You can advertise donating or tipping your stream. You can advertise subscribing and getting emotes. If you have any sponsors, that's the best way to shout out your sponsors for people to see them immediately. You have anything that you want people to see right away, you need to put them in your section right there underneath your video player on Twitch. On YouTube, when you upload a video, you have the option to add tags. Now, they're not in the description. However, when you do type words in the description, they do kind of work toward the search of your video. So you can describe things there, but you can't put a wall of text tags anymore. Not allowed. But in the tag section, you can include a bunch of tags. I'm not sure what the limit is. We'll find out and put it right here. Just kidding. There's a limit to how many tags you can use on YouTube, but you can use them wisely by, first of all, naming the games, naming the content, little piece by piece. Obviously, put your own name in there. Put anything relevant to your channel or you in there. And then you can put some generic stuff like gaming, gamer, live gaming, live this, whatever. If you don't know how to tag your video, another good way to get tags is by searching similar content. So let's say you're playing the new game Lawbreakers and you're playing this map and, this game mode. You could type that into the search bar on YouTube and find somebody else's video. Then you can use another website or you can view the page source and find their tags. Now, I wouldn't suggest completely ripping off their tags. Obviously, they're going to have some pertinent to them and their channel. Disclude those, but you can use the basic tags, like maybe it's the map Vertigo, maybe it's Blitzball, and maybe it's, 2017 beta, Lawbreakers, Boss Key, the studio, Cliff Bleszinski, the creator, the founder of Boss Key. You can use these tags from those videos that also apply to your video. It's not really necessarily stealing, you're just researching what you should tag your video. Next, we'll talk about collaborations, do's and don'ts, how to network, and more stuff like that. So, when you're starting out, you may be playing games with your friends all the time, and that's great. But honestly, sometimes it's better to go solo. It's one of the things I learned from streaming Smite. When I got brought on to Hi-Rez's channel, they actually recommended that I play less with other people and more by myself. They wanted me to shine and have my personality really show. And a lot of times when you're playing with a lot of people, especially if they're in the call with you, it's kind of hard to get that personality across because you're fighting other people to talk or for airtime, what have you. So it's great to play with your friends, but also have some you time with your chat and with your audience or your viewers on YouTube. So finding the right mentor or the right people to collaborate with can be sometimes difficult and sometimes it can be super easy. Maybe you hang out with people in real life who also want to do this. You guys get along, you're already friends. Pretty easy. Other times you might have to reach out to communities online. If you guys are playing the same games, you're part of the same community, you're in other people's chats, maybe you're watching the official game stream and there's other people in the chat that you kind of resonate with. Ask them if they want to play a game. You don't have to create content with them right away. A great way to gauge whether someone is going to be good as a collaboration on your channel is to just play with them off stream or without recording and see how it goes. Some of the don'ts in networking with people to collaborate with are very obvious, but people still do them anyways. Maybe they don't realize it. I'm not really sure, but it's kind of unspoken Twitch etiquette, some of these things. Number one being, do not go and advertise your channel in other people's streams or in the comments of other people's YouTube videos. It is disgusting. It is rude. It is not gonna help. It's actually gonna make you look really bad. It's not gonna gain any respect. People are going to either ban you or block you, and it's really just more detrimental than it is helpful. If you are playing a game and you're part of a community, if you're a regular on somebody else's stream and you want to play games with other people, it's a little bit more acceptable to be like, all right guys, I gotta go do my own thing now. Never advertise your own channel. If somebody wants to ask, maybe the broadcaster wants to ask, oh, what do you gotta go do? It'd be like, oh, I have my own channel. Don't ever advertise unless it's welcomed by the streamer, by the creator, by the video maker, whoever it is. Follow their rules in their community. Some of the do's for collaborating and networking with people is do find people who have similar interests to you. Do engage with people on social media, engage with people on forums, in community channel chats. Those are great places to find other people to play with. Join Discord. Join Discord communities. That's a great place to find people and not advertise on somebody else's specific channel. Don't go in there still and say, I'm streaming, who wants to blah, blah, blah. Go in there and say, I'm going to play some games. Does anybody want to play with me? If they want to play with you, you can mention to them, hey, I'm actually going to be streaming as well, if that's okay with you. If they're okay with it, go for it. One of the great ways to build your own community and find ways to collaborate within it is creating a Discord. You can have your channel. You can come up with all these different text-based channels or voice channels. I have one on my Discord that was simply for watching a TV show together. Obviously, it was the one I was on, but if you guys all like to watch E-League, Pro CS, you guys can all hang out in Discord and watch together, and then you can find more people who want to do that and comment or hang out, or you guys can have a text-based channel that's like, post all the memes from the Bob Ross Marathon and here, there's like lots of opportunities on Discord to connect with people and to bring them into your community. Another don't is don't pester a large streamer to stream with you. Stuff like that. Sometimes they'll be like looking for people to play with while they're streaming, and they don't mind if you stream at the same time, but it's really kind of rude to go over and be like, hey, I want to stream. Do you want to stream with me? A lot of larger streamers are doing this as a career, and they're more established. And people come up to them all the time asking for help, all the time asking for a leg up, asking for a shout out. It can't hurt sometimes to ask privately, but asking publicly really puts them on the spot, and it can end up looking bad on you as well. So when you're collaborating with people, it's always good to collaborate with people that are around the same size as you. It can be good, obviously, for obvious reasons to collaborate with people larger than you. You're going to get a lot from them. But if you're doing things to help each other grow in a community, there's lots of resources out there for that. There's the Twitch subreddit. It has lots of posts on it. People can post about various issues or things and community. They have their own Discord. They have different ways that you can connect with each other. You can also introduce yourself on that website or on that forum. There's also a bunch of different Facebook groups or Discord groups. You can actually find probably a meetup group in your city, or at least like a little niche community on Discord. Like LA doesn't have a meetup necessarily, but we have a Discord group for LA streamers. And that's another way you can find people to collaborate with as well. Try to find people in your city. Maybe you guys can hang out in real life, talk about it, and then go home and play games. If you go to conventions, you can meet people like that. It's always good to bring business cards or something to hand out so that people can remember you by. Again, don't try to force it. I've always tried to make connections and collaborations by just being friends with somebody first. I'm friends with a lot of other streamers and content creators, and most of them I have not worked with or collaborated with. I'm just friends with them. Occasionally we play games together, and that's how I like it personally on my channel. My channel is more centered around me, but that's another way to network, is just making friends. There are some groups, like there's a Facebook group for Twitch TV streamers. It has like 28,000 people in it, and there's tons of posts every day. People asking for advice, people asking for feedback, people asking questions like, hey, can you tell me what's your favorite game to stream on this kind of day when you're feeling like this? There's lots of resources out there and lots of forums and groups you can find just by Googling them that you can share this kind of information with other people also growing at your size. Now, the big struggle How to be unique. How? How is it possible that every single person on this planet can be unique? Well, one of the things you can do is just literally be yourself. It's really not hard. I can tell you from the beginning of my content, I was so much more shy and reserved. And you can really tell if you look at some of my old videos. And now I'm just like, whatever, I have no filter. It's very obvious that this is my personality. I am who I am on camera and off camera. I'm pretty much the same. Some people are a little bit more polite on camera. Some people are a little bit less vulgar on camera. And that's all up to you. But I would suggest finding what makes you unique in real life and honing in on that for your stream. Now, when I'm streaming, sometimes it's very chill stream. Sometimes when I'm making YouTube content, it's very chill, very relaxed. Other times I'm like amped up to the max. I'm drinking a Red Bull, I'm drinking an energy drink, and I am so hyped and so excited. And there are two different sides to me in that sense, but a lot of people starting off to get noticed, you want to be kind of on is what it's called. You want to be on. You can't be on all the time. Be on when you're filming, be on when you're streaming. Show that personality, show that energy, be excited to be there and be happy. Or be raging, whatever it is that makes you unique, whatever it is that draws people, that you notice draws people to your channel, really focus on that. Don't overdo it. People can tell when you're being fake. They can tell when you're just forcing it. But be yourself, but up a little bit. Turn it to 11. How to identify your strong suits? Maybe somebody comments on it. They're like, wow, I really like that, the way you handle that, like that one thing that you do, Maybe somebody will comment that on a video. Maybe they'll comment it in your chat. Maybe you'll notice it after they say that every single time. I notice that when I get super serious playing a game, I move my mouth a lot. And I make fun of myself because of it, and I make silly faces all the time. I don't take myself seriously. I'm not like, oh, look at me, I'm so pretty. No, I'm like, no, I make weird faces. That's part of who I am, and I hone in on that weirdness. That is me. Another way to set yourself apart is maybe have a look. I have a look. I've had pink hair since I started streaming and creating content. Pretty much, almost the very beginning. And I've had pink and blue hair the past 3 years, almost 4 years. And it's very synonymous with my brand and my channel and everything like that. Plus, I'm always like, oh, pink and blue are the best colors, obviously. But you don't have to dye your hair. You can literally be someone who always wears bow ties. You can literally be someone who always wears a little bow in your hair. Do something, have something. Some people have something like a little stuffed animal on their mic arm or something. Or, maybe they have bananas all over their channel. They have a running theme with their channel. That's a way to stand out and be unique and kind of hone in on something that's unique to you. So when you're looking at personalities on Twitch, such as your Futuremans, your Dr. Disrespects, your Benefits, they are doing a very unique and specific thing to them. Dr. Disrespect has that super huge ego and that attitude, and then Futureman has his whole future everything, futuristic this. He's gonna destroy video games and save the planet. Benefits is just a Muppet. He's amazing, hilarious, and adorable. So you gotta understand, if you're gonna be doing some kind of character like this, and it's gotta be unique. It can't be a ripoff or a discount version of these other characters that already exist. Do it yourself and understand that you're gonna have to commit to that character for a long time for it to catch on. Now, once you have an audience, you're gonna have to learn how to engage them and keep them active in your community. There's different ways to do that for Twitch and YouTube, and they are very easy. One of them is simply responding to people's comments or people chatting in your chat. Very easy. Answer questions, talk to them. If you don't want to answer the question, say, I'm sorry, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to answer that. Or literally, if you're streaming and you've got a chat going, just look away. So many times I see something in chat I don't want to respond to. I'm just like, back to the game. I kind of just act like, maybe I missed it. If they keep asking, then I'll be like, okay, I don't want to talk about that. I'm sorry. Or if it's something that you get regularly that you don't want to talk about, maybe set a filter in your chat. You can filter through Twitch settings, you could filter comments on YouTube settings, or you can use a Nightbot or a MooBot or some kind of chat bot for Twitch like that. So a lot of people on YouTube will say, first 100 people to retweet this or favorite it will get a DM from me or will get a tweet from me. And it especially works if you have a lot of followers or something. But sometimes the people just want a little bit of engagement. So you'd be like, tweet this out for a special message from me, and you can personalize it, or you can shout them out on your Twitch chat. If they're whoever tweets the stream, if I see you tweeting it, I'll shout you out on the stream live. Giveaways are a great way to engage with your audience as well. You can do one on your YouTube channel, on your Twitch channel for followers or subscribers, or now that there are affiliates on Twitch, they have a sub button. You can do it when you hit X amount of subs or X amount of views or likes on a YouTube video. You can do giveaways like that. I would steer clear of doing giveaways super often, at least at first. That way, people don't expect them all the time. One of the great ways that I like to do giveaways is buy the latest Humble Bundle. It comes usually with a bunch of codes for various indie games. You can get more than one. I think you can get up to 2 or 3. And you can play them yourself and then also give away one of the copies. And those are very cheap. You can pay what you want. Or you can search Steam for cheap games to give away, just like that. You can also give away skins in-game. I have my own skin in H1Z1. I would give away a bunch of those on my stream when that was released. When you're starting off, one way to not engage with your audience is negatively. And that's like very blanket statement. But what I'm trying to say is be a little bit more positive. If you have a troll in your chat or in your comments, just remove them or time them out. Until you build a bigger base, people in your chat will start defending you. People in your comments will start defending you on their own. However, I have learned the hard way. A lot of people learn the hard way. And I'm here to tell you, this is the best way that I have learned for me, my own channel. Ignore them. Unless you have a good sense of humor and you're not going to let it visibly get to you, ignore them. What I do now is I usually ignore them. Occasionally, if there's somebody saying like, oh, you're fat, you're ugly, I'm like, thank you. Your opinion matters greatly to me. Back to the game. And then, or I just respond to somebody else's comment. I act like as if it's nothing. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't faze me. At first, when I started streaming, I would get bogged down with trolls all the time. People would say some really hurtful things. I would start crying and end my stream, or I would turn off my stream and cry. I would get so upset. I would sometimes later on go through and yell at people and berate them and talk smack to them in the chat and make fun of them. And sometimes that's funny, but sometimes it just seemed like I was upset. Doesn't really look good. So my best experience with it is to mainly ignore it, time it out, or just completely be like, oh, that's not very nice. Move on. Literally. I'm a pretty vulgar person. I'm pretty outspoken. I'll say something in the chat and I'll be like, oh, I'm fat? Well, that's not really nice, but your opinion doesn't really affect me. Moving on. You can just be straight up like that too. Well, you're a stranger on the internet. You don't really know me. No big deal. Anyways, I hope you have a better day, because clearly those people are trying to get a rise out of you, trying to make you upset, trying to get a reaction from you. And if you don't give them the reaction they're expecting, they'll either do one of two things. Actually, 3 things. They might either get bored and leave, which is good for you. They might try harder to upset you, which is bad, but if you continue, they might get bored and leave. Or you can just ban them or time them out. The other option, which with my method I've learned works best for me, is to just directly acknowledge them. Well, thank you. I don't mind that you're calling me fat or ugly. Their opinion doesn't really matter to me. They respect it and they become a fan. That happens actually more often than not nowadays for me, because I just don't give them the reaction. I don't get upset. I don't just ban them either. I acknowledge them. I tell them, you know what? I hope you have a better day. I'm fine with you saying this to me here. It doesn't affect me as it would maybe somebody else who's not used to this. I've been doing this for 5 years, so for me, I don't care. So those people now in my channel end up being fans. Not all of them. Some of them still leave. Some of them still try harder, but it's another way that you could try to deal with it. But I would recommend ignoring them most of all. One of the many challenges content creators face is keeping it fresh. Don't do that. That's definitely a don't. One of the many challenges that content creators face is staying fresh. Super difficult in these changing times. Lots of things come and go. Games come and go. I mean, like Pokemon Go seems like it was forever ago. And somehow it's still a thing, but like it was like huge and then fizzled. So like you gotta stay with the times. You gotta stay with the content. Or if you have a game that's been around for a while and that's your community and that's what you're solid on, like say WoW, for instance, find a way to make it fresh, new, and interesting. A lot of that can be from getting information from your audience or your community or other communities that you're a part of. So let's say one of the latest things is doing this one mission and whatever, then jump on that mission. Do this. I don't know. I don't play WoW, but you know what I mean? Like find something and a new angle for the games that you're doing or for the content you're making. A good way to also keep your content fresh is to find a tagline or a gimmick to do. One of the things that I do on my channel, it kind of has evolved over time, which is how I've kept it fresh. But even before I was a Twitch partner, I would be hanging out and playing games and streaming with other friends of mine who were Twitch partners. And when they would get a subscriber, I would thank them so fucking hard right now. And that's what I've always said. And then when I became a Twitch partner, every time I got a sub, I'd be like, thank you so fucking hard right now. And that's like one of my gimmicks is that I zoom into my face all awkward, all silly. I'm pretending to be sexy for a second, but then I get real weird and awkward and ridiculous. Now I have a mixer for my microphone, and when I say it, I turn the reverb on, and it's like this crazy sound effect happening on my voice. So I've evolved the gimmick over time, but still, I do the same bit where I thank them really hard, I make silly faces, and I make silly voice. That's like one of my running gimmicks. A lot of people have their own ways of thanking subs. Some people do a little dance, some people do a thing. I also sometimes put stickers on a board and write their name on it. Come up with your tagline, come up with your gimmick, stick to it, and it will spread like wildfire. Now you may see a lot of streamers or YouTubers who have some pretty cool gimmicks, some pretty cool taglines, but don't steal from them. Don't just copy them. You don't want to be a crappy version of them. You want to be your own person. You don't want to like do a discounted version of what they do to draw their audience in. It's just not going to work. People are going to notice. It's going to look bad. It's not going to garner you any respect. What will garner you respect is if you take their idea and change it Be influenced by their idea. If it's so obviously similar to somebody else's, if you at least credit them for giving you the idea, or credit them or give them a little nod, tip of the hat, you're going to gain a lot more respect that way than just straight up ripping off what they do. So, be real, don't steal. Another way to keep your content fresh is obviously playing all the new games. Maybe you can't afford to buy all the new games, but what you can do is be on a press list. So you can just literally Google video game press list, and there'll be a few websites. There's Indie Boost, there's Tiny Build, there's a bunch of them out there. You can add your email. Sometimes they may require you to give information like your stream, how many concurrent viewers, how many videos you get, or views per video you get, subscribers, etc. Some of them have a threshold on how low that they will give you a free copy of the game, but some of them will just hand out a free preview copy. It may not be the full game, sometimes it might be a beta version, but either way, you will be able to get access to press review copies of their games. Now, if you do this, you're gonna have to follow their rules when playing their game, which means read the emails they send you when they give you a key. So if they don't want you to play the game before a certain date or show it, you have to stick by that, or you could get sued. If they ask you not to show a certain level on the video that you make or on the stream, don't show that level. Just follow their rules, play nice, talk to them. You can email back and forth with these PR people, and they can suggest you for campaigns and such like in the future. Like maybe they want to do a stream event on the release of their game. You can stream their game and they'll promote you on their Twitter. They'll do like trades, or sometimes when you get a little bigger, they'll even pay you. It's great. But that's an easy way. Just sign up for the press emails, reach out on Twitter, on social media, on their website, whatever you can. Try to reach out to them directly if you can, and you may get some copies of the games. Ladies, this is for you. So, whether we like it or not, women are still a minority in gaming, and we have a lot of challenges to face. One of them being how we are perceived. A lot of times people don't take us seriously. They may not think we're very good at games. They may think that we're faking it to get viewers, to get attention, all these things. While that's not true for most, some people do take advantage of the system. That's a different story. What I'm going to talk about now is how you can cultivate the audience that you want. If you want to be, a respectable, someone that can be respected as a streamer, maybe you can talk, vulgar and dirty or whatever you want as your jokes and as part of your content. But I mean, as a respected streamer and gamer, make sure that you're representing what you want to represent in the community. So, what I mean by this is don't separate yourself by gender. If you're trying to stand out and have something unique, don't use gender as that item to separate you. There are literally so many women gamers, so many women streamers, content creators. It's really not that unique. If you are going to make your channel named Girl Gamer 578 or something like that, it's literally not unique. It's not engaging. People are going to use it to roast you. They're going to use it against you. And it's just not helpful. It sets you apart in a way that we shouldn't be. If we want to move past this as a community and the way that women are treated in gaming, we want to be taken more seriously, we need to stop separating us as a different group. We're all gamers, all of us. Whether people think we're legitimate or not, it's different to each person. I might think a console player is a pleb, but that's just me. So just really don't set yourself apart as being a woman. It's not helpful, especially there's an entire community of non-gendered people out there, non-binary. They may consider themselves, transgendered or otherwise, and you're going to be alienating those people as well. If you don't set yourself apart by gender, you're opening yourself up to more people, a bigger audience. You're not slimming it down. Maybe you have a female-centered name like Girl Gamer 578, going back to that one. And then maybe some guys that could watch your stream would not be interested. They'd be like, oh, this is a girl stream or whatever. Or vice versa. Maybe you're like Cute Girl 589 or something. And some girl's gonna be like, oh, this is just a girl being, whatever to get guys' attention. It's gonna have a negative effect if you separate yourself like that. I actually started off with the name Miss Casanova. My name is Natalie Casanova. That's what people called me in school. My teacher would be like, Miss Casanova? Literally, that's my name. I would play games, I'd play Smite, and I would get shit on for having a female name, and I hated it. I hated the negative, reactions people would have to it, and I was tired of dealing with it, so I changed my name to something non-gendered. I'm not saying it's a bad idea to have like Miss whatever. There's plenty of those people who are successful who don't really separate their branding as I'm a female, this is, blah, 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 blah. I can name a few women who have Miss in their name. Ms. Vixen, Ms. Harvey. They don't center themselves on being different because they're a woman. They're just gamers who happen to be women. And I think they're great examples in the community of women who are just being themselves, not promoting a certain agenda for gender or this or that. I think it's a great way to represent women in general, not just in gaming, but we're all just people. We all have our differences. We all have our similarities. Gender doesn't have to be one of them. Now, the big struggle. How to be unique. How? How is it possible that every single person on this planet can be unique? Well, one of the things you can do is just literally be yourself. It's really not hard. I can tell you from the beginning of my content, I was so much more shy and reserved, and you can really tell if you look at some of my old videos. And now I'm just like, whatever, I have no filter. It's very obvious that this is my personality. I am who I am on camera and off camera. I'm pretty much the same. Some people are a little bit more polite on camera. Some people are a little bit less vulgar on camera, and that's all up to you. But I would suggest finding what makes you unique in real life and honing in on that for your stream. Now, when I'm streaming, sometimes it's very chill stream. Sometimes when I'm making YouTube content, it's very chill, very relaxed. Other times I'm like amped up to the max. I'm drinking a Red Bull, I'm drinking an energy drink, and I am so hyped and so excited. And there are two different sides to me in that sense, but a lot of people starting off to get noticed, you want to be kind of on is what it's called. You want to be on. You can't be on all the time. Be on when you're filming, be on when you're streaming. Show that personality, show that energy, be excited to be there and be happy. Or be raging, whatever it is that makes you unique, whatever it is that draws people, that you notice draws people to your channel, really focus on that. Don't overdo it. People can tell when you're being fake. They can tell when you're just forcing it. But be yourself, but up a little bit. Turn it to 11. How to identify your strong suits? Maybe somebody comments on it. They're like, wow, I really like that, the way you handle that. like that one thing that you do, you know? Maybe somebody will comment that on a video. Maybe they'll comment it in your chat. Maybe you'll notice it after they say that every single time. I notice that when I get super serious playing a game, I like move my mouth a lot. And I make fun of myself because of it, and I make silly faces all the time. I don't take myself seriously. I'm not like, oh, look at me, I'm so pretty. No, I'm like, no, I make weird faces. That's part of who I am, and I hone in on that weirdness. That is me. Another way to set yourself apart is maybe have a look. I have a look. I've had pink hair since I started streaming and creating content. Pretty much, almost the very beginning. And I've had pink and blue hair the past 3 years, almost 4 years. And it's very synonymous with my brand and my channel and everything like that. Plus, I'm always like, oh, pink and blue are the best colors, obviously. But you don't have to dye your hair. You can literally be someone who always wears bow ties. You can literally be someone who always wears a little bow in your hair. Do something, have something. Some people have something like a little stuffed animal on their mic arm or something. Or, you know, maybe they have bananas all over their channel. They have a running theme with their channel. That's a way to stand out and be unique and kind of hone in on something that's unique to you. So when you're looking at personalities on Twitch, such as your Futuremans, your Dr. Disrespects, your Bennyfits, they are doing a very unique and specific thing to them. Dr. Disrespect has that super huge ego and that attitude, and then Futureman has his whole future everything, futuristic this. He's gonna destroy video games and save the planet. Bennyfits is just a Muppet. He's amazing, hilarious, and adorable. So you gotta understand, if you're gonna be doing some kind of character like this, and it's gotta be unique. It can't be a ripoff or a discount version of these other characters that already exist. Do it yourself and understand that you're gonna have to commit to that character for a long time for it to catch on. Being a content creator is stressful. Not gonna lie, it's a pretty cool job. It's pretty awesome, but it's super stressful at times. Other times it's super relaxed, super easy, chill. You're playing video games, you're making vlogs, you're just hanging out. It's content, but there is a lot expected of you if you are someone who streams every day, if you're someone who uploads videos every day. People expect you to do it all the time. I suggest making a schedule. I have a terrible time personally sticking to schedules, but I also do more than just videos and streaming. I do voice acting, I do TV, I do hosting. I kind of, like I said, I have my eggs in a lot of baskets. So I could benefit from my own words here, and you can benefit from starting off like this. Stick to a schedule. Take your time. Don't force yourself to go over that schedule. You don't need to stream 12 hours a day every day. You don't have to do that. Maybe make it a Monday through Friday thing. Take the weekends off, or every other day. Anything like that. Upload on the same time every day or every other day. Whatever your schedule is, stick to it. Make your audience know it. That's going to help you reduce your stress. And if you need to take a break, you can alert your audience, hey, I'm not going to be streaming this week. I will be doing this, and they can know that, okay, they need a break. They'll be back with their regular schedule when they come back. They'll start uploading again when they come back. Just be aware that people are going to expect content from you, and sometimes you can't produce it, and that's going to suck. But you need to take time for you. If you don't take time for you, it can be detrimental to your mental health. personally, not just mental health, physical health. I've gained a lot of weight since I became a professional gamer and streamer. Honestly, I gained a lot of weight. Now I've incorporated fitness back into my life and making it part of my streams because sitting down and playing video games all day and my metabolism personally just don't mesh well. So make sure you're taking time to have real life and online balance. I went into a deep depression about 3 years ago because I was uploading videos every day to YouTube and sometimes twice a day, and I was streaming every day. I didn't leave my house or my room very often at all. And I was just, I sunk into this hole after several months of doing this. And I got to a place where I was miserable. I didn't even know why. I was so grateful for all these opportunities, for the audience, for being able to do this as a job, as a career. But I didn't understand that I needed a life outside of it still. What I did at that time was I reached out to a therapist. I talked to them, a life coach actually, and we worked out that, yeah, I need to have real life interactions with people. I need to get outside. You need vitamin D. You really do. It makes you happy. So make sure that you're balancing your online life with real life. Make sure that you have somebody you can hang out with and be social with in real life, not just online. Now, we all do tend to get down in the dumps occasionally. It's not, you're not alone in this, especially not as a content creator. A lot of content creators deal with this. When I went through my depression, I made a video about it and I said, I'm sorry I haven't been uploading or streaming. I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel miserable. I don't know what's going on. I had so many comments, not just from my viewers and my audience. I had so many other streamers and content creators and YouTubers and people in the industry itself reach out, comment, or reach out to me privately and tell me, hey, I feel like that too. You're not alone. It's okay. It happens to all of us. Know that, it's all right that you feel like this, but it'll pass and it can get better and it will get better. You just need to make sure that you talk to somebody, reach out, get help, talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your significant other. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself first and foremost before worrying about your content. Going back to what I said in the last lesson, there are going to be times where you're going to see the numbers fluctuate on your content. Views, viewers, concurrent viewers, subscribers. It comes and goes. It happens. It's seasonal sometimes. Sometimes it's based on your content. And don't let it bring you down. That is the most important thing you can take away from that. If you see a trend in something happening and it's not just a seasonal trend, like let's say you have a younger audience and during, back to school, you see a drop in views. That's pretty normal. Most people see a drop in views and viewers at that time. However, it's going to come back up, especially if you work hard to make yourself have fresh content, you stay relevant, you work towards using different social media to engage with your audience. If you're a streamer and you stream daily, make your content available during other times of the day. Maybe once you finish your stream, run the vodcast overnight. So that way people can see your content when they're available to view it, even if it's not live. But most importantly, don't take it too hard. Everybody has their ups and downs. It's gonna happen. But if you focus and stay positive, you can still be successful with all of those ups and downs. Now, if your numbers are trending down, or maybe you just are worried that you're not staying relevant or that your content is not fresh and exciting, a great way to improve that is by getting feedback. Now, A lot of people give feedback that's not asked for, and that can be very annoying. However, sometimes people can offer you feedback that's very helpful. Don't just brush off all the feedback that you get, even if it's negative. Take it into consideration, but also take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes people will come to your stream in the middle of, a break, and maybe you're not there. Maybe your chair is there, or maybe you're waiting for the game to load and you have it on your camera and somebody's like, "Oh, great, nice gameplay, great stream." Maybe that happens really often. It happens to me sometimes. Occasionally, I put something on the screen that says, "In between games, switching back to the game soon." That way, somebody who comes in and sees that is not going to automatically assume this is the whole stream. You can get a lot of feedback from your community by simply asking them, "Hey, is there anything that you guys like about my stream that you want to see more often? Is there something that you don't see on my stream that you would like to see me play or you would like to see me do?" That can be a great way to find out what they want to see, obviously, but also it can be a great way to find new ideas. Maybe their idea is not what sticks, but it helps you figure out a different idea that you can work with, that's something that you will enjoy. Maybe somebody suggests that you play Overwatch, and you're like, "Well, I don't really care for Overwatch." But maybe you're like, "Oh, maybe I could try a different class-based shooter like Lawbreakers." Man, I like Lawbreakers, sorry. No, but seriously, you could take these ideas, and if you don't like them, use them and work with them to come up with something that you do like. There are also a lot of online resources on Reddit. Twitch has its subreddit. That's great for that. You can actually post in there, "I would like to get some feedback on my channel." And people will comment and people will see what they think that you should improve on or what they think you can work on or something that you do great, and they can highlight that, like, "You really do this very well. I think you should keep doing that or do something more like that." I see people's channels sometimes and I'm like, what you do really well is you address people in the chat very well. When they pop in, you always say hi to everybody. That's awesome. If you have a lot of viewers and a lot of people talking, it's going to be harder, but it's still great to every now and again be like, "Oh, hey, what's up, so-and-so?" Like I said, you can use that criticism, you can do exactly what they say, or you can turn it into your own idea. However, it's great either way. What you can do is just listen. It's very important. People are what make you, this audience that you have, this community is what's going to make you successful. So if you don't listen to them, it's going to hurt you. If you listen to them even just a little bit, it's going to help. One little pro tip that I don't tell everybody, but it's kind of awkward for some people, but if you really want to engage with your audience and you really want them to feel connected to you and see you and think that they're really there hanging out with you, it feels a little weird to some people, but just stare into the camera. I know on my end right now, I'm staring into a camera, but on your end, you're looking at a screen and it looks like I'm looking right at you. It's a lot easier to connect to somebody looking right at you than somebody talking off to the side and not really paying attention. It's really weird at first, but you'll get used to it. Just a little bit of eye contact every now and again with your camera is actually very engaging to the audience.
This is lesson 1, building a community. One of the first topics that I wanted to handle around here was the building of your community, because it's really the foundation of your channel, as I think you may well already expect. And one of the important things to keep in mind is to build it well. It's all well and good building up a community and getting however many people come into your channel, but if they're not the kind of people that are going to encourage further growth, that are not going to allow you to have a good time, and you're constantly going to be having to deal with them in some way, shape or form to stop them chatting about things that you don't want to be talking about or causing unrest within the channel, then it's not going to be a worthwhile community for you. So you need to ensure that the people that you have along for the ride with you are actually going to be worthwhile having in place with you. So one of the main things that I would really, really encourage you to do would be not tolerating any kind of behavior that you don't want in your channel. And it sounds really stupid and it sounds really simplistic, but some people are a little afraid to kind of rule with an iron fist over their chat. And I'm not saying that that's the perfect thing to do every single occasion, but it's your channel, it's your space. Yes, you are wanting people to come along to enjoy it with you, but you still lay down the rules. You still lay down how you want things to run within your channel. So one of the real things that you need to keep in mind is people's first impression of your stream could very well be their last impression of your stream. And that sounds really negative and worrying, but you have things that you can do to control this. So again, linking back to not tolerating people being in your channel that you don't want to be in your channel, the same rules kind of apply across there. If you've got one person that you're letting say things that are generally not particularly nice to be heard, if a new viewer comes into your channel, sees that that's being accepted within your community, that can be an instant turn off for your channel. And I don't know about you guys, but like if I go into a channel and I don't enjoy my experience in that channel and I get a really negative impression of them, odds are if I see that channel name pop up again, I'm not too likely to click it. So that's where I'm coming from there, really. Make sure that the first impression that people get of your community as well is a positive one, so they're more willing to become part of it rather than to run for the hills. What I would really recommend is, and something I'm going to touch on a little bit further, is with your mod team really defining what you want to have allowed within your channel. And along with building up that community, try to be nice. I know it sounds, again, really, really stupid, but nice guys don't necessarily finish last on Twitch or Beam or Mixer. Beam's not so much, considering it's now Mixer. It's not a case of like nice guys finish last though, because if you continue to be known within the community as someone that's constantly reaching out to others, constantly retweeting about this worthwhile cause that's going on, you know, someone's trying to do a charity fundraiser and you get behind them and try and promote what they're trying to do, or someone's had a really bad time and you're trying to raise funds to help them out, or anything like that, it doesn't hurt to do all of those different things. It really does help you be known as someone that, hey, you know, this person means well, this person's trying to help out. Maybe it's going to be worth spending a little time in their channel. And the work that you do outside of your stream is absolutely as vital as the work that you do within your stream. So any of that social media content, any of that social media contact with different people that you may not have interacted with before is vitally important. And that will all be part of how you build your community to be the way that you want it to be, rather than the way it would have built itself without your guidance. So a few examples of people that just do community really, really well. And the first one is, and maybe I'm being a little narcissistic here, I'm not quite sure, but like I actually mod for these guys, a pair of streamers actually, called Two Angry Gamers TV. Now what they do on Twitch is they really provide a sense of belonging within their community. So they call their followers the eggs. Don't ask. I don't know. There's a very, very long story behind it, but hey. So you're all part of a communal name. Everyone has time for each other. They provide resources beyond the stream, like a TeamSpeak server, a Discord. They interact regularly with all of their subscribers and followers across Twitter and various other social networking platforms to really make sure that they're included and, you know, felt cared for within their community. As much as they genuinely do care for those people, that the feeling comes across as well. And everything that they have is styled in their channel for like emotes, for example, is styled around different catchphrases and different memes that have popped up within their chat over the years, or you know, as a particular moment on their live stream that performed really well with their audience. So their audience really got behind that moment. So it became an emote within their channel, or it became part of one of their alerts on their channel. And stuff like that really creates that feeling of belonging within a community, and it really creates just a want to be part of that. And so new people come in and realize, how close and cohesive their community is, and it makes you long to be part of it. And that's a really, really clever way of going about it. As much as a lot of their community building is genuine, wanting to connect with their viewership and wanting to have fun with friends and make new friends across streaming as well, it's a real great way of getting that across, whether it's intended or not, I suppose. But definitely give them a check out on Twitch, and you'll see what I mean very quickly after watching a stream or two of theirs.